What's up, everybody? Happy New Year. Happy New Year. We are hot into 2026. We are here with episode 3 of the Revitalized People of XA podcast. I am co-hosting this. My name is Damari.
My name's Elijah.
And we are here with the one, the only, our current president, Ethan Dill.
What's up, guys?
Dude, it's so good to have you on the pod. We've been wanting to get this scheduled for a while. I remember we were trying to get our people in order. I was like, remember talking to Elijah. I'm like, all right, we're going to get Elizabeth, Erica, and then I already know we'll do Ethan in January. So, dude, how are you feeling? Did you have a good Christmas?
Doing great, yeah. Christmas was awesome. I always love the time of year because I get to spend a lot of time with my family, which them being 2.5 hours away because I live up in the greater North Indiana. So
Greater North, you might as well be Michigan where you're from.
It's 15 minutes either way to go to a Walmart in Indiana and a Walmart in Michigan. So it's the same distance.
So, Ethan, you said you're from Shipshawana. So what was that like growing up, in you're not Amish, but, growing up in a town where, so much is different. Where I grew up, I didn't have buggies on the side of the road. We just had people on the sidewalk. So what is it like, just growing up in a community where there's two different cultures like that?
Yeah, it was super interesting. There's very much, I feel like, a divide when it comes to like the two groups. Unless you are kind of like us, we live on our road. I think there's more Amish families on our road than English families. So that's how they differentiate people like English versus Amish, which is super interesting.
Yeah.
And so unless your family members are ex-Amish or you live around the Amish, you really don't interact too much with them because in schooling up until 8th grade, they have to come to public school. But after 8th grade, they're actually able to just leave and work with their families, do that kind of stuff.
Did you have any friends that you were friends, they were Amish, and then in 8th grade, you just never saw them again? Or
yeah, there was a couple. I did a lot of math stuff, and one of the guys in our math class, he was a Amish guy and super cool, super smart. And then 8th grade happened and didn't see him afterwards.
It's like, where'd all my friends go? They went back home.
Wait, so for Amish, that's something that I'm not too keen on. So I was wondering if you know anything about the different types, because I've heard that there's different types of Amish. So do you know anything about that?
I don't think I don't know a whole lot about them. I do know there's kind of the classic old guard versus new guard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where it really depends on how strict the bishop is, which is kind of the head of the region, and then there's a head above the bishops. But the stricter your bishop, the more you tend to filter into that old guard type.
Interesting.
But there's some people around us that actually have cell phones. So
whoa.
It's they only use
Red
it for
flag.
emergencies, but it's crazy to see we think of Amish just completely
Right.
away.
Like
but
the stereotype.
Some of them
No
have
electricity, but
cell phones. Some of them even have generators. So if it's off grid, sometimes they're able to manage to argue that to their bishop is it's not attached to the grid, so they're still separate, but then they still have power.
Wow. So that's interesting. So growing up, we already talked a little bit about just the culture differences, but what was life growing up like for you? Did you come from big family, small family? You come from church, no church? What's home life like?
Yeah, so in my family, I'm still, my parents are together, praise God. And then I have 3 other siblings. Okay. I have an older sister who works and does stuff in the factory as a mechanical engineer.
Oh, wow.
Get
cool.
that money, girl. Get that money.
There's me. I'll talk about that later.
I'm Ethan.
Then I have a younger brother and a younger sister. So my younger brother is going to USI down in Evansville doing electrical engineering.
Right on.
And then my younger sister is still in high school.
Okay. So yeah.
So I assume you're doing engineering.
No, well, kind of.
I'm just kidding.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
Audio engineering, so music.
You saw everybody say money, 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 and you said, you know what? I'm gonna do audio and make some money.
Well, I started out doing music education.
Okay.
So
why the major switch?
yeah, I just I kind of took a look at where my life was headed, and I thought, like, do I see myself teaching in 5 to 10 years? And just the answer was no. So realistically, I just felt like it wasn't wise to continue down that major.
Okay.
I was good at it. The head of the music education program kind of asked me why I was switching, and was confused why I was switching. But
Hey, but when God's leading you, doesn't matter what people are gonna say. You just gotta go do it and rock with it. So So did you come from were your parents having you in church, or was it kind of like free fall, do whatever you want till you get to college?
Yeah, no. My family grew up in church. We went to the same church for as long as I can remember. I think there was technically a time period where I was really, really young and we were at another church, but went to the same church for as long as I can remember. Grew up in their kids ministry, youth program, junior youth program. So still heavily involved there.
Okay.
So yeah, through all of that, so I grew up in a Christian family, Christian home, so going to church.
That's awesome.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So what brought you specifically to Ball State from Shipshewana? Was it the music program?
Yep. In my opinion, specifically for music education, Ball State's got one of the best programs. There's a couple other schools that come close, but just for me, and price-wise and just location, Ball State made the most sense. Also my mom came to Ball State, Ball State grad, so.
Hey, there you go. Did you get any special scholarship from her?
Oh, nice.
I have a legacy scholarship that.
Hey, would you
I
look
didn't
at
know
that?
that was a thing. That's cool.
Everybody who's out here, just make sure you watch your emails, and if they call you, pick up the phone. You never know. It worked out for Ethan.
Yep.
And so coming to Ball State, like you said, you were and still are a Christian, and so how did you even get involved in Chi Alpha in the first place?
Yeah, so as you guys are aware, there's a lot of people from my area that seem to be coming to Ball State for some odd reason. I don't know.
Praise the Lord, though.
But with that, I knew a couple people that I was in band with because I'm a band kid. I did theater, I did show choir. But I knew a couple people who were here and part of Chi Alpha, that being Emily Schrock, now Emily Yoder, and then Landon Haynes. And I was in band with both of them. And so I ended up rooming with Jason Yoder, Emily's husband. And through that connection, she's like, hey, this is a group that I'm a part of. You should come check it out. I'm like, sure, because I'm rooming with Jason. Jason's already pretty invested. He kind of has to be. But I got in contact with Landon and, got to know Landon a little bit more. I knew him a little bit, but he played trumpet. I played trombone, classic low brass, high brass, Family Feud,
Hopefully that doesn't get us copyrighted, but that's fine. So, yeah, that's really dope that you kind of got an idea before you came here. I think it is strange that Middlebury has become the beacon of Chi Alpha members over the past few years. Even just think about people like Allison and countless others that are from this area, and people will continue to weirdly come from.
Weirdly, yeah.
I think it is weird.
It is weird.
It's it's a small town. I would expect people from the bigger city, use that loosely, of Goshen. You would expect that kind of thing, but not necessarily Shipshewana itself. It's a beautiful place, but not a place where I think Ball State people would come to Chi Alpha of all places.
I also think that there's an allure, Ball State isn't a huge school.
True.
But it's still large enough that you get the college experience, as well as it's close enough to home that if you need to run home on the weekend to grab
Yeah.
something or you forgot something, you can do that. But it's also far enough away that you get that sense of independence, able to figure out
Yeah.
Right.
and grow kind of who you are. So
exactly how long does it take for you to get home from Muncie?
depending on road conditions, right now it's not great, but anywhere between like 2 hours and 15 minutes to 2 hours and 30 minutes. So
Okay.
Not a bad drive at all.
most of it's on I-69. So
Hey, it makes it even better. So with that though, like you've been pretty active like your whole time in Chi Alpha. I remember when we had the first serve team call out, and it was you and Jason immediately coming up to me and it's like, we can serve right away. I was like, who are these freshmen? Like, it's like, you pray for some things and you're like, well, God, if you do it, it's great. Or I like to always say, like, sometimes you pray to God for a Ferrari and God gives you a Honda Civic because what you needed was a car. But this time I prayed for the Ferrari and God gave me two in Jason and Ethan. And so like what made you really want to like dive in right away? And then like what kind of keeps you in Chi Alpha?
Yeah, I think that's an excellent question. Actually, I've got a fun story. I'm not sure if you're aware, but I got to add some background to it. I really did pray because I knew I was coming to like a public school, so there's not that Christian group that's instantly there like you have if you were to go to like Grace or Bethel or some of those other schools. So I just really prayed for a Christian group, and I remember as I was being sent by my pastors at my home church, one of them kind of came up to me. He's like, God has a calling for you there at Ball State, and there's people that need you there. And so that kind of like was a reassurance that like, hey, I'm doing the right thing. And so basically I got to Ball State, and I'm super timid, which you guys might not agree with, but so I had this vision that me and Jason were just going to do everything together, and to some degrees that happened. To a lot of degrees we did our own thing.
Yeah.
And so what happened that first night, like I knew I wanted to do serve team because I'm always just super involved. I do sound at my home church. I help with a bunch of the other stuff there because just my family is involved and plugged in there because we've been there forever. But so I was basically following Jason around. And so Jason comes up and he's like, I want to serve right away. And so you seeing me following Jason and Jason asking that, it just roped me in. So that's just an amazing way that God has been able to get me involved like quicker than I thought.
Yeah.
And like pretty quickly you guys realized my talent for doing sound and that kind of stuff. And so just because I love it, and that's hint why I switched my major. But
there you go.
so yeah, that's kind of what got me into like serving specifically within Chi Alpha. But like serving, I feel like is really like one of my callings. I really like to serve. And I just feel really good helping people and blessing people in that regard. And so that helps a lot with dealing with burnout or other stuff because like you said, I'm heavily involved with stuff with Chi Alpha. I'm the president this year.
Hey, yo, let's
doing
go.
Worship leading. When I get a break from worship leading, I run sound. Or
There have been times where you've been stretched.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who knows the next time I'll actually do other like serve team stuff. We'll see.
Hey, just talk to Anthony. He'll put you on serving with communion.
Yeah. If you really don't want a break, that can be arranged.
Well, that was last year. Like,
yeah, right.
I think there was a point that I'm like, hey, Damari, I need a break. I was like, respectfully, like I love doing this, but I'm here every week, and
but
so
those breaks are definitely needed, and rest is needed. So, yeah. Now we have a full staff team now.
I know it's great.
It's been a blessing. So been very involved in Chi Alpha. I will never forget. Well, after that, Ethan and I sat down at North, and like Ethan was able to just share a lot about his testimony there, and I know like for me that was just like a very like impactful moment in my life and my friendship with you. I'm like, man, this kid's pretty dope. But then you started coming to North Point. How has it been like, being in campus ministry and being involved at home, but also getting involved at a local church that's in your college town and not your hometown?
Yeah, no, it was definitely a shift. So that first year, I'm a third-year student here at Ball State. But that first year, I rode with Landon, and Landon at that time went to Glad Tidings Muncie North. So that's where I went. I didn't get super involved there, which was interesting because I'm always trying to get involved in some way or another. But my girlfriend from back home ended up coming to Ball State, not because I was here, for other reasons.
Okay. All right.
But at that point, I'm kind of like, okay, let's find a church that we both like. So we kind of did the church tour of the 3 big churches that kind of support our Chi Alpha. And so we just landed on North Point. We like the atmosphere, and quickly found that Pastor Zach realized that I could do sound. And so every once in a while I'd step in. But it's been super interesting to see just the difference between this church and my home church, because like this church, North Point, is tied with Assemblies of God. My home church is non-denominational. So sometimes a different vibe. My home church is a lot longer. Like we start at 10 o'clock, and sometimes we get done at 12:30. Sometimes we get done at 12. So like we got an hour worship, hour sermon.
Yeah.
So a little bit of difference between the two, but I definitely found it hard to balance both. So I've actually backed down serving at home because a couple other reasons, aside from just serving here. But
So speaking of serving, as it is such a high prioritized thing in your life as a follower of Jesus, you also lead a core group, which I would argue is also a form of serving, as you're giving up some more of your time and sacrificing some of your life in other ways. So kind of talk us through how you were led to that and how it's been going.
Yeah, so I got involved back home the last, last year of high school. I got pretty involved with one of my good friends' young adults group, and so we ended up doing Bible studies through that, and some stuff happened. We ended up kind of breaking off from that group, me and him, and some of my other buddies, and we were just doing Bible studies. And so we'd rotate through who kind of led each week. And through that, we actually started picking up some guys back home through like our show choir. And so that was interesting to see that preparing me for something that I didn't even know existed at that point. And so that kind of was preparing me for doing core group leading. And so I got to Ball State. I spent a year under Landon and Harry, and that was really beneficial to me. They really were able to speak into my life, hold me accountable in ways that I hadn't been before. And so, it came to the decision where, like, the time where we're trying to decide whether or not we want to dive headfirst into, like, the trainings and that kind of stuff. And I vividly remember, like, myself struggling with, like, I really don't want to do anything unless I'm called to do it. So it's like, I wanted to make sure that that's what God had for me, and I wasn't the one who was wanting that for myself, like, and not God wanting that for me. That's
good.
I remember going to SALT that freshman year, and it was the last service where they have everybody getting prayed for and that kind of stuff. And some random person, I still have no clue who they are, what Chi Alpha they were from, or any of that stuff. But at that point, I was really kind of leaning towards probably not doing it because I didn't really feel qualified. There's still a lot of times where I don't feel qualified. But I remember them asking if they could pray for me, as I'm waiting in line, I just vividly remember them praying like the exact like God qualifies the called. And so that really kind of was a reassurance to me. And yeah, I've just been blessed through leading core groups. And there's times where it's difficult.
Right.
Yeah.
And times where like I beat myself up about stuff that like I have no control over. Because like I can only bring them lessons that I feel like God wants me to bring, or bring them lessons, but I can't make them be faithful, available, and teachable. So I've been blessed with having a lot of people who are faithful, available, and teachable, and so yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, no, I think it's really good. Core group, yeah, there are ups and downs to leading core groups. There are good days, bad days, and ugly days. And I could tell you, being on the other side, and I think Elijah can too, it's just like you will look back on your core groups as a student. I'll never forget like dumpster diving for donuts and, doing that with my core group, or, going to the village and getting food, or going to concerts, playing, doing all kinds of crazy stuff with core group. It's just like, I don't know, there's just something about a group of friends being fully devoted to living out the ways of Jesus together that just I don't know, just changes everything for you.
Very fulfilling.
Yeah. You've been able to do a lot of cool things like in Chi Alpha, and I know you came with me on the Ole Miss trip last year, and we've got a couple trips coming up. But what did going on a missions trip in Chi Alpha do to kind of like shape how you view the kingdom of God? And how did that kind of, coming back from the trip, did it influence core group? Did it influence like your own faith? Stuff like that. So yeah, what did Ole Miss mean to you?
I like that. I've definitely been thinking about it because you guys are going back. So like, if I want to be prepared in case anyone asks me.
Right.
But I really, it was really impactful to me because it brought the issues that race can cause and the division that it can cause right in front of my view. And like, it made me definitely rethink about like we discussed at the very beginning, like the divide between the Amish and the English in the community that I live in. And it's like, it's there.
Yeah.
Whether or not we call it that or not is completely different.
Right.
But like, I feel like I was able to get a better understanding of like why race is an issue. Because like I came from a small town where most of the people that I interacted with were same colors, same ideals, and so there wasn't a whole lot of diversity of the kingdom there. And so it's gotten a little different over the years, but it's still very much that way in Middlebury and Shipshewana. And so but yeah, during that trip, like I was able to ask a bunch of different questions that I know Damari struggled with.
Oh, dude, it'd be like 12 in the morning, and like Ethan would be like, "So how do we solve this?" I'm like, "Bro, I'm going to sleep." But yeah, no, the questions were so good, dude. Mm-hmm. Yeah, man.
Yeah, so that was super fulfilling for me. And at that time, I had a guy in my core group who was not the same background as me.
Yeah.
And so I was like, hey, I really partnered with him. I'm like, hey, what can I do as a core group leader to include you more or make my core group more available for people who have different backgrounds?
Yeah.
And so through that, we were able to do a couple of different things. I'm still milling over how exactly to do that. But I still talk with him. I sent him a text the other week. So
yeah. No, I think it's good. We talked about it at the end of last semester, just like being one table, and I think that is one of the cool things about not just like racially, but I always joke that, Chi Alpha is the place where the jock and the kid who loves playing Dungeons and Dragons can be best friends. And it's all because of the power of Jesus, And so, I think we got 2 more questions. I might have one. We'll see if Elijah has one. But it's junior. You said third year. So how many
Yep.
more years do you have?
So, because I switched my major, it added an extra year, which may or may not be part-time. I haven't decided yet. So I've got 2 more years after this year.
Okay. So do you have any idea of what the future could look like? Are you thinking CMIT, thinking more things? Just like right now, obviously this will change. And, you
Yeah.
may look back on this
Yep.
5 years later and be like, man, I was dead wrong. So
I'm fully expecting to be dead wrong, but
We're documenting it
yeah,
here.
documenting it here. I don't know. I mean, I'm just gonna keep pressing into what God has for me, and I've had some people pray over me recently that have basically told me that I'm gonna do some stuff that I don't even think is possible. So, I mean,
Love those
I've
prayers.
definitely considered doing CMIT or some other
Yeah.
type of program through some ministry of some kind. But yeah, we'll see. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Elijah, you got any?
Yeah, I think it's admirable just kind of being content in where you're at, not necessarily knowing where you're going, because especially in college life, it's very much the norm to have every next step planned and figured out. So it's a little more rare to have people that don't necessarily know exactly what their next steps are, but especially following Jesus, just allowing yourself, like you said, to be led by him and not wanting to do anything unless you feel called by him to do that. So I think that's really wise of you, just to spend that time being content in where you are, putting all your effort into where you are now, and just allowing yourself to be led.
Yeah, and I've missed the mark sometimes, and some stuff that I feel like I definitely should have done. But praise God that He forgives me for my mistakes and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, this has just been a fantastic episode, and we're so thankful that you've been on, Ethan, and you're starting off us for 2026, and it's going to be great. And so
Amen.
be looking out for a fun thing that we're going to do in February for Black History Month. But for that, you'll have to tune back in onto this YouTube channel. And so I'm Damari,
I'm Elijah.
I'm Ethan.
and we're out. Peace.